In this video, we're going to learn how to use standard technical indicators. Let's take a closer look at what we're going to cover. We'll start by learning how to add indicators. We'll then look at how to modify indicator settings and parameters. We'll also take a look at removing indicators. We'll then move on to importing an indicator and adding indicators over another indicator. Finally, we'll take a look at using the meta editor. How to add indicators. At some point, you're going to want to add indicators to your charts. Now let's take a look at a couple of ways that you can add indicators. The easiest way to add an indicator is to use the Indicators button on the top menu. If you click this button, it's going to present you with a submenu. At the top, you can see the 6 most recently added indicators. And down here at the bottom, you can see what actually works out to file folders that contains the different indicators. If you hover over any of these options, it's going to present you with a submenu where you can select an indicator. Now down here at the bottom, you've got the custom folder, and in here you will find the custom indicators that you will add manually to your platform. Let's take a look at what happens when you add an indicator. So I'm going to go to trend, and let's just pick out a moving average. As soon as you click on the indicator, it's going to present you with the parameters window. And over here, you can set the different parameters for your indicator, and then click OK. And as you can see, the moving average, in this case, has been added to our charts. Now, another way to add indicators is to use the navigator window. Up here on the menu bar, you've got the navigator icon. If you click on that, it's going to present you with the navigator window. Now you'll notice out here, you've got the indicators submenu. And if you click on the little plus sign, it's going to expand this menu. And now you can see the available indicators here. If you wanted to add, for example, Williams percent range, you can double click on it, and it's going to present you with the parameters window. Select your parameters, click OK, and the indicator has been added to your chart. Another way that you can use the navigator window is to select your indicator, click on it, and drag it onto your chart. When you're ready to release the mouse button, as you can see, the parameters window is going to pop up. Set your parameters and click on OK, and the indicator has been added to the chart. Now let's look at another way to add an indicator. I'm going to close down the navigator window, and I'm going to go up here to Insert. If you click on Insert, it's going to present you with a menu. And if you hover over indicators, it's going to present you with the same indicator folders and submenus that you saw on the indicators menu item. So you can select the indicator that you want, click on it, and it's going to give you the parameters window once again. So you can set your parameters, click on OK, and as you can see, the indicator has been added onto the chart. So that's how you add indicators on the MT4 platform. How to modify indicator settings and parameters. At some point, you may want to modify or edit the settings on your indicators. Now, there's a number of different ways that you can do this. The easiest way to modify your indicators is to simply hover your mouse over it and then double click on it. When you double click, it's going to present you with that indicator's parameters window. Now, as you can see over here, I've double clicked on the moving average and it's brought up the parameters. So let's go ahead and modify this. I'm going to change this to period of 21. Let's change the MA method to exponential. And let's change the color to blue. And we'll also change the thickness of the line. And once that's done, click OK. And as you can see here, the changes that we've just made to this indicator have been reflected on the indicator itself. So let's look at another method of editing our indicators. Down here, you can see we have 2 different indicators. So if I were to hover over one of them and right click on it, you can see on the top half of this pop-up menu, it's given me some options for this particular indicator. So if I want to change the properties, all I've got to do is click on this properties icon, and it brings up the parameters window. Now I can go ahead and I can change the parameters here. Let's just modify that. And let's make that red. And let's go to the levels and just add a 50 level or a minus 50 level. Click OK. And as you can see, the period has been changed to 21. The color has been changed to red, and it's even inserted the -50 line that we wanted. Now there's another way we can also modify our indicators, and that is using the indicators list. You can go anywhere on your chart, right-click, and on the submenu, you can see you've got indicators list. If you click on that, it's going to present you with a list of all the indicators you have set up on the chart at the moment. So you can see we've got our moving average, our parabolic SAR, the Williams percent range, and the MACD. Now let's assume we wanted to modify the MACD. All we'd have to do is click on it, and the edit button becomes active. We can now click on the edit button, and you can now see the MACD parameters window. So let's change some of the parameters here. Let's just make that 1055, and let's change the colors. We'll make that turquoise. Click OK, and as soon as we click on close, you're going to see the changes reflected on our indicator. And there you have it. So those are some of the ways that you can modify the parameters and the settings of your indicators. Removing indicators. At some point, you're probably going to want to delete or remove some indicators from your chart. Now, there are a few simple ways that you can do this. The easiest way to remove an indicator is to simply hover over the indicator, right-click on it, and you'll be presented with the option to delete the indicator. If you click on this button, it's going to remove the indicator from your chart. As you can see, we've just removed the moving average. Another way to remove an indicator is to remove it via the indicators list. To access the indicators list, you can go to your chart, right-click, and select indicators list. You'll notice that there's also a shortcut for it. So if you want, you can press Ctrl and I on your keyboard to bring up the indicators list. Here you can see the available indicators that we have on our chart at the moment. And let's assume we wanted to delete the MACD indicator. All we've got to do is select it by clicking on it and go to delete. Click that, and you can see that the indicator has been removed. So those are some of the ways that you can remove indicators from your charts. Importing an indicator. The MetaTrader 4 platform also allows traders to add their own custom indicators. Custom indicators are available on the internet, and you could also create your own if you have some programming experience. A lot of traders like using custom indicators, and there's a simple way to add them to your charts. As you can see, I have a custom indicator that I've created here. Now, I want to add this onto my MT4 platform. The easiest way to do this is to actually copy the file and insert it into the indicators folder in your MT4 folder. Now, let me show you how we're going to do that. Select the file, right-click on it, and choose Copy. Now we're going to navigate our way into our MT4 folder. And if you remember in the installation video, we stored that in the Programs file folder on our local disk. So let's navigate our way in there. We're going to go into Programs Files, x86, and I'm going to look for the MetaTrader 4 folder. As you can see here, there is a folder. I'm going to double click on that, and it's going to bring me inside. Now I'm looking for the Experts folder. Here we are. I'm just going to double click. And because this is an indicator, I'm going to double click on the Indicators folder. It's going to bring me in here where I can see the rest of the custom indicators. I can then right click and choose Paste. It's going to ask me to provide administrative permission to copy to this folder. I'm going to accept it and continue. And you can see my custom indicator has been added to the platform. Now, if you go back to your platform, you're not going to see it. The reason for that is because you need to restart the platform before you can see any changes. So if you go and look at custom, you're not going to see the indicator that we just added. But let us restart the platform. I've just shut down the platform, and I'm going to start it up again. And we should now be able to add our custom indicator. Okay, so I've just restarted the platform. Let's go and see if our custom indicator has been added. I'm going to go to Indicators. I'm going to go to Custom. And here you can see my custom indicator now appears under the Custom menu. And if I click on that, it's going to present me with the Inputs tab for this indicator. And I can make my changes to the parameters and so on. If I click on OK, it's going to add my indicator. So now you know how to add custom indicators to your MT4 platform. Adding an indicator over another. There may come a time when you'd like to add an indicator to another indicator. Let's take a look at how you can do this in MetaTrader 4. The easiest way to add indicators onto other indicators is by using the Navigator window. On the Navigator window, you have a list of all the indicators you have available on your platform. And if you expand the list, like that, you can see what indicators you have available. Let's look at the moving average. Let's assume that I want to add the moving average onto the RSI. Now, there's a simple way to do that. Select the moving average, click on it, and then drag it and drop it onto the RSI. As soon as you release the mouse button, you're going to see the moving average parameters window. Now we can adjust our parameters. And one important thing that we'll need to change is the Apply To field. If we were to click OK right now, with the setting left to close, it's going to apply the indicator onto our price chart over here. Now we don't want to do that. We want to apply it down here to the RSI. Now the way to do that is click on the Apply To drop-down, and you will see one of the options here is the first indicator's data. Now we only have one indicator, so that's the one that we want to use. So let's apply this indicator to the RSI. And actually, let's change the color, make that red, and we can click on OK. And as you can see, the moving average has now been added onto the RSI. Now let's assume we wanted to add one more. Click it, drag it, drop it onto the indicator. Now in this particular case, let's assume that we wanted to apply the indicator not to the RSI, but to the new indicator that we just added. Again, we'll go to the Apply To window, click on the drop-down, and instead of choosing the first indicator's data, we're going to choose the previous indicator's data. The previous indicator's data refers to the last indicator that you've just added to the chart. And we know that the last indicator we added was the moving average. So let's select Previous Indicator, leave the setting as 21 so that it matches the previous one, and it will allow you to see that it is not being applied to the RSI, but instead being applied to this moving average. So let's click on OK. And as you can see, this new 21 moving average, the blue line, is applied to the 21 moving average, which is applied to the RSI. So that's how you add indicators onto other indicators. Removing them is just as easy. Right-click on the chart, go to the indicators list, and you can see in the indicator window number 1, that is this one here, you have a list of all the indicators that you have added. Now you could delete them one by one. The moving average at the bottom is the last indicator that we added, so that would be the blue line. So if you want to remove that, click on it and click on delete, and it will be removed. Another way to remove indicators from indicators is to hover over the indicator itself. As you can see here, I've just hovered over the moving average. If I right click on it, it gives me the option to either delete the indicator, or if I want to delete the entire RSI, moving average, and any other indicators, I can just delete the entire indicator window. So if you click on that, the indicators have now been removed. So that's all there is to it. Using the Meta Editor. If you're a programmer, or if you know how to create your own custom indicators, the MetaTrader 4 platform will allow you to create them and use them on your platform. Let's take a look at how you can add a new custom indicator. What I've got here is a bit of code for a custom indicator. Now, if we wanted to add this onto our MT4 platform, we cannot add it in this particular format. We're going to have to convert this to a custom indicator before we can use it. Now, the easiest way for us to do that is to use the Meta Editor. The Meta Editor is a built-in code editor that comes with the MT4 platform. If you want to start up the Meta Editor, all you got to do is come out over here and click on the icon. See that little diamond-shaped icon with the exclamation point? That is the icon to begin the Meta Editor. Once you've clicked it, it's going to bring up the editor like this. Now let's go ahead and create a new custom indicator. The first thing you want to do is click on New, and it's going to bring you to the Expert Advisor wizard. Now here you need to select the option that's appropriate for you. In this case, we're going to create a custom indicator. So I'm going to select Custom Indicator, and I'm going to click on Next. Now you need to give the indicator a name. So I'm going to call this My Test Indicator. Click on Next, and you can click on Finish. And as you can see here, it's generated the default code for us. If you were a programmer, you'd be able to go in here and start adding your custom code and creating your indicator. Now, I've already got all my code written out, so I'm just going to select all. I'm going to right-click and copy. I'm going to come out here to my meta editor window. I'm going to select all the text that it's added for me, and I'm going to delete it. I'm now going to right-click and paste my code. Okay, now that everything's there, I'm going to save it. Okay, it's been saved. The next step is to compile the code. And if we compile the code, we're going to see any errors that may exist in the code appear down here. So let's click on Compile. Okay, you can see it's compiled the test indicator. There were 0 errors and 0 warnings, so no problem there. Okay, so now that we've saved our file, we can check whether it has been added to our platform. So let's go to the Explorer. Let's go to our local disk. We'll go to Program Files, and we're looking for the MetaTrader 4 folder. Once I'm in the folder, I'm going to go to Experts. I'm then going to go to Indicators. Now, if you are using Windows 7, you may need to click on Compatibility Files. And here you can see. Okay, so my test indicator has been created, and you can see mytestindicator.ex4. Now, this is the file that's actually going to be used in our platform. Let's go take a look at our platform. We can close that down. We can also close down the meta editor. Now, once you've created the indicator, you're not going to see it appear in your custom indicators menu. You're going to have to restart the platform. So let's shut that down, and let's go restart our platform. And I'm looking for terminal. Let's double click on that. And now, let's go to the indicators, custom. And here you can see my test indicator that we created in the meta editor has been added on to the custom indicators submenu. So that's how you use the meta editor. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.